Hi Libra, welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September of 2020. Mars is retrograde in Aries, never your favorite time, but we're going to tell you how to cope with it. Mercury and Venus are direct and fast, which is great news for you as a Libra. And then there are a couple of moons to talk about too, but let's start with that squirrely Mars. Hey Julia, how do you think Libra is going to experience that Mars retrograde?
Good question, Jamie. Well, hey, Libra. So Mars is going retrograde on September 9th, which is in your seventh house of partnership. So to answer your question, Jamie, this is going to be really coming out in Libra's relationships
Yeah.
during this cycle. So if you have a partner, then you guys are going to be batting heads a lot more than usual. The seventh house also rules all types of consultants, counselors, like lawyers and therapists. So it's not a great time for hiring a new consultant of any kind, or you're just going to run into a lot of frustrations with them as well. And between September 10th and 12th, actually this month, all of the outer planets are going retrograde, including Mars on top of that. So for the month of September, and particularly during that short window of time, it's really not a good month to start something totally new, like buy a new home or open a new business, for example, because retrogrades have a very unexpected and squirrely influence, and you don't want that in your sort of new plans. And I think that Jamie and I actually made a whole video about Mars triggering the pandemic hot degree while it's retrograde this year. And I think that's also in our 2020 news playlist, so check that out if you want to hear about how Mars retrograde is going to affect the world too. Now Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of thought, is direct and fast, and it's going to be entering Libra, which is your first house, on September 5th. So that means you're going to be really embodying Mercury this month, which means that, you're going to be very articulate. You're going to be able to express yourself verbally very well. And it does mean that you are going to respond to situations first with your logic, with your rationality, instead of your emotions, which will come second. So that's going to help out a little bit during this Mars retrograde in the seventh house, that at least you're going to be communicating your position well. And nobody can win a fight like a Libra. I've noticed.
Yeah, they get the last word usually.
Yeah, exactly. They know your position better than you know it yourself. And Venus, which is your ruling planet, Libra, it's moving direct and fast, and it's going to enter Leo, between September 5th and 6th, depending on where you are in the world, and that is your 11th house. So the 11th house is the house of friends. It's the house of any group you're a part of, whether that's a club, whether that's a society, whether that's a Facebook group, all types of groups. Recovery programs would also be the 11th. So you're going to be getting along really, really well with groups this month, whether it's your buddies or some other type of group. So, at least you have somewhere to go and socialize if you're not speaking to your partner.
Yeah, that just seems so sweet for getting a glass of wine and going and sitting on your porch and having a socially distant conversation with somebody out in your yard.
Or FaceTimes.
Or FaceTimes. Yeah, it just seems so sweet for that kind of thing. Okay, so we have got a couple of moons to look at. Right away at the beginning of the month, there's a full moon on September 1st, and we usually feel moons for about 3 days, surrounding them. And so this one is in the sign of Pisces, and it's very much on the topic of dreaming, with the duality between dreaming and doing. And whatever house this moon falls in is going to tell us where you're doing more dreaming and less doing. And that would be the sixth house, which is the arena of the everyday details of your job and the systems that you operate to work and to maintain your life and your health. So you may find that you're kind of feeling into and intuiting into and dreaming up some better systems and some better organizational methods. And you might intuitively feel drawn towards that. But I don't know how much action you're going to take until after the moon is over, because really where the action is over here with the sun in your 12th house, and it's absolutely beautiful trine that it has over to Uranus and Pallas Athena. So the earthy placements of these planets are probably going to get more concrete action actually in your 12th house, which is your spiritual life and your dream life. and bring a more of a dreamy quality to your everyday life. And if that sounds a little bit, inverted, well, it kind of is. And these things happen sometimes. Life is complicated. So then we have another moon coming, and here you can see it happening. The moon and the sun meeting up in late Virgo, right there in your 12th house. Again, the house of dreams, imaginings, a very spiritual house. It also represents the unconscious, your unconscious, the collective unconscious, the group unconscious of your family. All of these things are governed by the 12th house. And having this new moon there brings this quality of new beginnings, fresh starts, planting seeds, which are always planted in the darkness. You don't see results right away when you plant seeds. They have to germinate first, and then they have to grow and blossom. So these particular seeds are being planted in unconscious places, places where you really can't see them. And but some really sweet outcomes could be ahead, even if it's difficult to track them back to this moment. And part of why I say that is because this full moon, this new moon, trines the pandemic hot degree, which you may already know falls in your 4th house, and it's right here where Pluto and Saturn are. And so some of what this seems to be saying is that if you've been feeling the oppressive nature of the pandemic, mostly in areas connected with your domestic life, your feeling of safety and emotional security there, your ability to rest there, and also your relationships with family members, then this particular moon might bring some soothing, comforting solace in the midst of all of that that eases the burden of the pandemic for a time. And it might come up, from unconscious realms where you would never have thought to look for it. Maybe some mysteries will unfold. Well, Libra, that's what we have for you. You can always find our horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com/horoscope. And if you are interested in a reading about any of the themes that are going on in this month, well, there really, isn't a better time to get a birthday reading than the month before your birthday. So you can get a jump on your personal new year. So I would definitely be thinking about that if I were you. And you can find that on our services page, pandoraastrology.com/services. Either Julia or I would love to help you with that. And you can always find the news of the month on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.